we have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
Make sure to listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Good enough for us down here in the bayou. Go Tigers and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
It's morning.
Yes, and what a lovely morning. Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
In regards to your car's extended warranty for quite some time now. This is our final attempt.
Armchair.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Florida State Seminoles men's basketball head coach Leonard Hamilton has agreed to a 5-year extension through the 2024-2025 season that will pay him annually $2.25 million a year. Hamilton is 72 years old, the winningest coach in school history, and has the Seminoles on the verge of winning back-to-back ACC regular season titles for the first time ever. Florida State currently 14-4, and in first place in the ACC is the highest-ranked team in the league at number 11 in the latest AP poll. The Atlanta Hawks fire head coach Lloyd Pierce on Monday. Given the hook less than halfway into his second season, which carried expectations before being hampered by injuries. The Hawks are 14-20 and 11th in the Eastern Conference. The NIT, National Invitational Tournament, is downsizing and moving its annual tournament this month, the NCAA announced on Monday. The NIT will feature 16 teams, all playing in Dallas-Fort Worth in the metropolitan area, with the games being held at Comerica Center and UNT Coliseum. Due to the reduced field, all 16 teams will be at large selections with no automatic qualifiers. The University of Texas defeated Lipscomb for the 2019 title. We got a couple of big games tonight in men's college basketball. At 5 p.m., Baylor tries to get off the schneid after getting their first loss of the season. They travel to number 6 West Virginia. And at 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN, number 4 Illinois is at number 2 Michigan. Also in the top 25, number 12 Arkansas at South Carolina. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for more of the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast. Good morning. It's time to wake up, y'all. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays on CBS Radio, YouTube Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. The Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for Southern sports talk. Good morning, Mr. Justin Waller.
Good morning. I don't know much, but I know one thing. Mr. Ronald Acuna Jr. will become a 40-40 member this season if his base coaches don't kill him in spring training.
Hi, I'm Mac McGinn. I don't know much, but I know one thing. More things change, the more they stay the same. Kyle Wright sucks, and I'm not sure if Yanoa is actually going to make the roster, if you know what I mean. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
2, 4, 6, 8, who do we appreciate? Bears! Bears! Yay!
Hey, Yankees, you can take your apology out of your trophy and shove it straight up your ass. And another thing, just wait till next year.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man with a groove in his head. Yeah, the armchair.
Hey, howdy, hi. Top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. I'm Mac McGee sitting alongside Mr. Jesse Waller. And there we have Mr. Stephen Troche out there in San Francisco. Stephen, how the hell are you as he's scouting the Giants for us this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. I just turned 30, so I joined the I joined the Senior Citizen Club.
You watch it.
I am so ready for baseball season.
Happy birthday.
Thank
It
you.
all sucks from here. That's all I can tell you, man. Things
Just
start
remember
hurting.
where you are now, because in a decade from now, yeah, it's a lot different.
Things start hurting. You don't even know you have them. You're like, what the hell is that? Why can't I walk? Why can't I walk straight? What the hell's going on?
That started at 25 for me. That's nothing new.
Well, that's after a heavy night of drinking. You just bang your knee into something. Well, let's get right into it. Fantasy baseball. Look, we've only got a handful of weeks, or not even that. We've got about 4 shows with Steven before we get into our fantasy baseball drafts. So away we go. Let's start with sleepers and busts for the 2021 season. Looking at the 2021 season and looking at the sleepers and busts, Steven, where are you going first? Let's do happy talk first. What are your sleepers this year that you like? And then we'll start killing people.
All right, so the first one I'll start off with is Brady Singer. He's going to fall into that Mitch Keller camp like I was on last year. He's going to be playing out with the free agent moves. They're going to be a little bit better than they have been, but still not a very good team with not a lot of depth in this rotation. So, I mean, Brady Singer, right now ADP is 311. That's not even being drafted in most leagues. And he's going to be a guy, he throws a lot of strikes, and he's going to get a lot of innings. He may not give you the elite peripherals you're looking for, but for a guy who's not going to be drafted, you can't ask for like a much higher floor.
Yeah, you got to figure he's going to go around, round 20 or so?
311, that's around 32.
Round 32. Well, first of all, who the hell has 32 rounds?
Depends on the league. I mean, I have one league where I have 46 players on my roster.
What do you get? 2 players playing?
23.
I bet that is you get 23 teams playing?
No, okay, 10 teams, 23 players starting on each roster.
All right, well, number 46 sucks on everyone's roster. I can tell you that right now. I don't even have to look at your rosters to know that whoever number 46 on your roster is sucks. That's ridiculous. Most leagues you're talking about 20 to 25 rounds essentially. We've got the one rotisserie league that's 30. 32, man. Wow.
You should send McGee an invite, because he can't say no to fantasy sports, and he needs one more. And I want to see him have to roster Kyle Wright or Luke Jackson as number 46. Please, when you have an opening, send my man an invite.
I would love to see Dave in this league. It's got contracts, like salaries.
Oh, that's exactly what he needs right there.
Yeah, I'd be in there negotiating till all hours of the morning. I'm not even sure how this works, but this guy told me over a cup of coffee he was going to sign, and now I'm still waiting for Ken Rosenthal to tweet this out. What the hell's going on here? Yeah, the deepest league that I'm in this year is the one that we're in with the rotisserie that we're changing up a little bit. The only thing we realistically changed is the fact that it's going to be a daily league this year. None of the stats have changed, but it's going to be a daily league and not a weekly to keep it a little more interesting. Of course, we're going to put $5 in the pot, and everyone's going to chuck in $5 in winner take all to make it a little more interesting. I've come to realize that if we don't have at least $5 in it, that people just lose interest in the damn thing. So you got to put something on it.
I like how you're trying to diminish my championship. Thank you.
Well,
you're getting a number 2 as well this year.
Calm down, asterisk.
I'm proud of my victory. I'm proud of that W.
Okay, All right, getting off of that and going back to the fantasy baseball talk. Justin, who is a sleeper that you got an eye on this year?
Well, I'm really watching the catchers. I came prepared for us to dive into those today, and I'm really
carry a catcher. Why are you looking for catchers?
Well, because believe it or not, Darno's probably what put me into the deep playoff run that I got into, and just had hot that me and you both had half of the Atlanta lineup, and it just worked out that way. But you can't predict that every year. But am I going to be able to find another Darno this year? And where is that going to come from? I'm really watching William Contreras. It's something in spring training. I want to see if he can step in and take some of that role, because I think it should evolve to him this season. I'm not going to spend a lot of draft. We'll get into that later when we do our lists, but I'm not going to spend a lot of capital. I think it's Riamoto or bust for catchers, and you better have a good option of planning somewhere deep, because to me there's not a lot of value.
With as far as Contreras goes, from my understanding, he's going to start the year off in the minors because they want him to continue to develop. And then if there was an injury, he would pop right up, right? And then it'll most likely be Alex Jackson backing up Darno, because they want – Jackson's pretty much where he is who he is. He's got an okay stick. He's probably a little more polished behind the plate at this point in his career, but they want to see the young kid Contreras. If that name sounds familiar, it should. His brother is the catcher for the Chicago Cubs. But if there's an injury to Darno, he's coming straight up and he will assume the role. So that's the weird thing. If you see an injury to Darno, don't run out and pick up Alex Jackson. You're going to want to run out and pick up Contreras, because Jackson will continue to be the backup in all likelihood unless something really strange happens. And then remember, they've also got the kid down in the minors that they're really big on, but I don't think he comes up for a couple of years. Shea Langoliers, they are super high on him. So the Braves aren't spending any free agent money anytime soon on catchers, which I think is where they were trying to get at. That's why they put Darno to the 2-year deal. And this is his second year, and he will be out the door after this. Because if he has anything kind of a season like he had last year, they're going to freaking there's no way they're going to re-sign him. So as far as sleepers go, and then we'll get into catchers, but as far as sleepers go, a couple of the ones that I'm interested to see how high they go is like Ian Anderson of the Atlanta Braves. He's sitting at what is he sitting around, like a 120-ish, 125 on this list. Will he go up a little higher, right? Or do people feel like he was kind of a flash in the pan and he's going to have some sophomore slump issues? Another guy that I find interesting, and then I'll hand it back off to you, Steven. Chris Paddock, who was incredible in 2019, but had a terrible 2020. He's sitting at 131 overall. What's your guesstimation on him? Is he someone that you think will be reached for, or do you think he will sit in that 131 range? Because I feel like he's a guy that someone's going to grab closer to 100.
I think he definitely should be going a little bit higher than 130. I mean, I don't think he still has the ace upside we originally thought when he came out of the minors, just because he has that 2-pitch arsenal. But I do think he should go a little bit higher than there. I don't think most people are going to be targeting him in that range, though. So I could see him falling down, but it only takes one person to reach to go up and get him.
Justin, is he a guy? Well, okay, Justin, I'll throw another guy. You same rotation, same team, but just came over from Pittsburgh. Joe Musgrove sitting at 141. Is he a guy that you would want to bank on the fact that he's going to get more offensive production? He's always been a very solid pitcher. And on a team for Pittsburgh, he was their number one. But realistically, he's a number 3, number 4 on most staffs. Is he a guy that gets elevated because he's in San Diego now, or what's your take on that?
I think so. You know, he's gotten over his tricep issues, and he finally had double-digit strikeouts to end his 2020 campaign. I know it's kind of a small sample size. We didn't see the grind of a 162, but I definitely think he's going to be put in more favorable positions. He's going to have an offense behind him that he's going to have some mental confidence he didn't have in Pittsburgh. So I think it really could be some value you could pick up late.
Steven, I'm seeing something that's pretty interesting to me. Sixto Sanchez is 148, and I don't think there's any way in hell he lasts to 148 in our leagues. What say you?
Yeah, no, he's not lasting that long. I mean, I still think he's a little way off from being like reaching his potential, but yeah, I mean, he is not a 15th round pick. He should be going a lot higher than that.
I mean, to me, that's insane because if you're letting him fall, he's getting drafted around where Didi Gregorius is getting drafted. And if you have him ranked like that in your rankings, you just simply never saw the man pitch. I mean, that would be my take on it. You obviously missed the entire playoffs because he had a hell of a outing against Chicago, and not to mention his regular season. He had some hiccups, but a young kid's going to do that. I think Sixto Sanchez is going to be elite over the next several years. Don't you have him in a keeper league?
I believe I have him in our keeper league.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I think I have him in the rotisserie. I always want to call it the chicken league.
Sure.
Or rotisserie.
I'm gonna throw this to you. Back-to-back ADP. Patrick Corbin, Sixto Sanchez. Which one do you want?
Oh, Sixto. Because the problem with Corbin to me is that as good as he's been, he's had difficulties from time to time getting to the sixth inning. Well, in most of our leagues, that's a big deal because you're not going to get a quality start.
Yep.
Right. So Sixto to me is the guy you can roll out there. Honestly, as young as that pitching staff is, they're going to go out there now. They're going to take it easy on from time to time, maybe give him an extra day off here and there. But when they roll him out, if Miami is competing down the stretch for a wild card or even division, they expect Sixto to eat up at least 7 innings because you can't have Sixto go 5 and then the next 4 days the bullpen continues to get wrecked. Sixto is the guy they're going to leave in there. Corbin, they've always had. I just always feel like they use him with kid gloves. Justin, here's another interesting one. There's no DH at this moment. Now, if the DH comes in, it becomes a totally different animal. But if there's no DH, Dominic Smith is at 150. So we're talking around the 15th round. I've got a feeling if we get a DH in the NL, the guy shoots up like 50 spots, right? But if he's sitting there at 150 and Dominic Smith is going to find a hard time getting in the lineup from day to day. So would you take a Dominic Smith that you're essentially going to have to platoon, or would you go somewhere else? Let me find someone in his same wheelhouse. Would you go Didi Gregorius? Would you go, let me see who else we have. Gary Sanchez, as we're about to talk about catchers here in a second. What's your thoughts on a guy like Dominic Smith, who's a good hitter, but you just don't know where he's a terrible left fielder, and you can't put him at first base because some guy by the name of Alonso stands over there.
Right. And if I have Sanchez at that position, I'm probably going to snatch my catcher at that point. But, man, that one's a tough. The no DH, I think you got to lay off and go something that tried and true. And, I mean, I wouldn't be scared of a Gregorius. They're going to be chasing with those arms out there. They're going to need everything they can get.
And Steven, before we go to catchers, one more to you, and I'll kind of bat this back forth to y'all. This is one of the most interesting ones to me. Shohei Ohtani. Is this guy a two-way player, or is he a what-way player? Meaning, do you just say to hell with it, you're a pitcher, or do you just say to hell with it, you're a hitter? Because I don't think you can be a two-way player in Major League Baseball consistently. It's not just the injuries. Put that aside. A Major League Baseball starting pitcher has got to focus on that 5 days a week, or 7 days a week, but the entire 5 days, the day he pitches till the next day he pitches, because the simple fact that not only do you have to get your work in, but you also have to study the lineups, et cetera, et cetera. And if you're out there batting, unless you make him a reliever, you've got a heavy workload that you cannot focus on because you're out there playing every day. Steven, what say you?
The baseball fan in me and the former baseball player in me wants it every bit for him to pull this off. If we're talking for fantasy, I don't think there is a reason to draft Shohei just because of you don't know what that workload's going to be, if they're going to shut him down from pitching at some point, so on. I think he's shown so far he has the physical capability to handle that type of role. His health has to keep up with him. Like we have to see it for one or full 2 seasons before I can really judge it.
Justin, what say you?
For the love of baseball and Mike Trout, you do it. You got to let him do it. The Angels need it. You've got to get Mike Trout to the postseason.
Well, that's why I think, look, they've got offense, right? If this is a my club decision as opposed to what's best for Ohtani, I think you tell him, dude, we'll pinch hit you every once in a while, whatever, but you're a starting pitcher. And we need you to focus on being a starting pitcher. And maybe we use you as a pinch hitter so that you're not spending the entire game. But regardless, I don't want you in the field at all.
Correct.
And B, I don't want you playing every day as a batter. His talent is ridiculous on both sides, but I feel like he's much more electric as a starter than he is as a batter. As a batter, I think he can be about close to a 300 hitter if he put the pitching aside.
Well, I think team needs him to be a pitcher as well.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like if you're an Angel owner, executive, manager, what have you, I think you really need Ohtani to be on that mound. Because who the hell do you have in the Angels rotation? Is there anyone there that y'all have earmarked that you would even draft? Because there's not to me. Steven?
Tehran.
Tehran is gone.
Did I miss that? Oh man.
He was a free agent. He signed somewhere. I want to say Detroit or something, didn't he? I can't. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, Tehran's gone.
Well, then to your point, no.
They got Quintana though. I watched that bum pitch the other day. My God. And they threw up a stat and it was like Charlie Morton and Jose Barrios threw the most curveballs in the last like 3 or 4 seasons. And then number 3 was Quintana. And all I could think, of course, the announcer's not going to say, all I could think is, yeah, but the difference is the first 2 guys you mentioned actually have other pitches. Like that's all Quintana's out there. He just lobbed slow curveballs and we try to sneak an 88-mile-an-hour fastball right by you, and that thing was getting roped into the outfield. I don't know how they signed him thinking that was an answer. But anyways, we'll switch gears to catchers. Steven, I'm interested. Look, we all know Real Multo's the number 1, but how do you have the rest of your top 10 rounding out?
So one thing I'm noticing is a big disparity at the top. So we have Real Muto, number 1. I don't think anybody's gonna have anything different than that. He's by far and away the best catcher in baseball. Fantasy, real life, doesn't matter. So then you have this is where it starts to get interesting. You have 2 and 3 who are Salvador Perez, Will Smith. Perez is a fantastic source of power. He will get you the home runs, get you the RBIs, but he doesn't do much else. I think he's being really buoyed by last year. He batted .333 with a .375 batting average on balls in play. He has never batted above .270 with I think .280 was the highest batting average on balls in play. I think he's going to regress a lot this year, and I'm not paying the premium for someone who can give me a lot of home runs, and that's about it. So, like him, and then you have Will Smith right below him. Yeah, like last year, he showed he's physically and like one of the most talented catchers in the league. But when you have Dave Roberts coming out and already saying, Yeah, Will Smith and Austin Barnes, 1A, 1B. There is no backup in Los Angeles. That makes me really scared.
Here we go with that.
I am not spending a top 100 pick and a top
Here we go.
For someone who's not even guaranteed to play every day. I don't know where these projections are coming from.
The only thing better than that is like is an NFL head coach telling you that they're going to share the workload in the backfield. And you're like, oh crap, here we go.
Here, I'm going to say something without comment. There is no DH in the NL this year. 6 of the top 10 catchers by ADP are in the National League. There's a disparity. People are not taking into account there's no DH. Because, I mean, one person that's really sticking out to me is Mitch Garver at 13. He's about the only, he's one of the ones that workload is a little bit of a concern, but he's going outside of the top 10, and you have James McCann at number 10 over him. He has that's
hype. I think that's hype because he went to the Mets.
100% hype. Like his biggest value was as a left-hand, he can hit left-handed pitching.
Yeah.
I look in the National League East. How many left-handed pitchers are there?
Quite a few.
I mean, okay, on the Mets.
Well, I mean, to your point is, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh, you're good. Good.
31 homers back in 93 games. Now, granted, he might not duplicate that again, but I think he's a 20 home run catcher. And if you're getting that past your 11th, 12th position at that spot, that's great value.
I think people are hoping Mitch Garver of a few years ago shows up and not the Mitch Garver we've seen recently. And that's a lot of hope. Hell, I got burned on Mitch Garver. I believe he was on my chicken league team. And he was garbage. My team was garbage, but he had a big, I always like to give credit where credit was due. Mitch Garver had a lot to do with that because he was absolute trash. The guy that's I think both of the catchers for New York are overhyped because you got Gary Sanchez sitting at there at number 7, but when you look at him at number 7, the thing that people don't realize, unless you watch a lot of Yankees baseball, is that, man, that guy is literally hit or miss. He usually has a low average, but he'll run into one every once in a while. And so because of that, at the end of the year, he'll have a decent home run stat, but he'll be sitting there, doing things like, striking out with the bases loaded that drives the Yankees fans insane. So I think he's extremely overrated. And who the hell is Dalton Varsho to be ranked over all these guys too? I mean, I know he's a prospect that everybody likes, but do you not think that he's a little overhyped?
I mean, he's coming in above Mitch Garver. I mean, I'm not saying Mitch Garver is the end all be all catcher, but I mean, he's going he's over Christian Vasquez, Austin Nola. Who is?
Dalton Varsho on the fantasy rankings I'm looking at right now.
Okay, you're looking at rankings. I'm looking at ADP. Dalton Varsho is going as the 12th catcher off the board, right in between Sean Murphy and Mitch Garver.
I think the upside to Varsho is the steals. If he gets the everyday position, you're looking at a young kid that can match steals with home runs. And if he's a 15-15 guy, then, I mean,
outside of Real Muto, how many 15-15 guys are there?
Not many.
Is Grandal overhyped? I've got him ranked on this board at number 3 over Will Smith and over Wilson Contreras.
Over Will Smith, I have absolutely no issue with that. Wilson Contreras, that's where you can get a little bit. That one's a good debate. I'm not upset either way, but yes, Contreras should be over Will Smith. No problem.
I almost think that Travis d'Arnaud could be argued with him. Not that d'Arnaud's going to have the home runs that Grandal did, but d'Arnaud's going to be sitting probably 5th in that lineup, and he's going to be able to get some RBIs.
Oh no, d'Arnaud's a great catcher. I mean, he turned it on last year. He's always been a fantastic catcher. He just never could stay healthy. I mean, I was happy to see him do well last year. It's been 10 years of just on and off injuries, never really getting a shot.
The other question would be, is it over for Buster Posey, or can he extend his career as far as, I still think the guy is probably on the cusp of the Hall of Fame. And I think he still needs a couple of solid years to put him as a shoe-in. We can have that debate down the road, but is Buster Posey worth drafting this year? Just a few years ago, everybody wanted him. And now it's like, I don't know, man. I think the pop is gone. He doesn't hit for that high of an average. He does hit high up in their lineup, which helps with RBI and whatnot. But is anyone expecting a bounce back from Buster Posey? Because remember, he didn't even play last year. So he's been gone from the game since 2019.
He's not necessarily someone I'm targeting, but I mean, he's got a 26th round ADP right now, 14th catcher off the board. If I miss out on the catchers I want and I need someone to fill out the back of my, like that, like at the end of the draft, I would not be super disappointed about getting Posey. Yeah, he's not going to be your top two option like he has been most of his career, but hitters like that just don't forget how to hit. He may not have the pop, but he should still be decent.
Justin, give me one catcher you're staying away from that you just don't like where he's ranked at.
Well, that would be Sanchez. For all the reasons you laid out, he would be my number 10 on this list. But I'm not buying the Smith and the Perez train. If I was to miss out now in our leagues, I believe he's already taken, and I can't get Riamalto, then Darno would be the only one of value I'm looking at. If not, I'm dropping to the back of the pack. So I'll put Sanchez since he's up there the highest. I would drop him out.
And Steven, what about you?
I'm staying away from Salvador Perez. It's just I'm not spending a 9th round pick on someone who's only going to get me home runs with a 260 average. It's just not a wise investment.
I do think the Royals are going to be a little better this year, but yeah, number 2, that's pretty freaking high. I think I'm going to do a little more research, but this Dalton Varsho that's ranked number 8 overall. I mean, I don't remember him being that outstanding. And
he also has outfield eligibility.
I get that, but okay, it's different if Ronald Acuna Jr. has catcher eligibility. Then he becomes like everyone's number 1 pick, right? But just because you can put Dalton Varsho in the outfield, who gives a damn? He probably can't hit as well as the top 50 outfielders out there. So that's not an attraction to me. If it was a position that he was eligible for, in other words, like, for instance, you're playing fantasy football, you find a running back that can also slide into the tight end position, that's a big deal. But I don't care about taking my catcher and putting him as my outfielder. I would rather have the other scenario.
Me too.
Steven, what's your walk-off?
We have a long baseball season ahead of us. I am ready for draft time. Do your research. Stay away from catchers early in your drafts.
What's the earliest that you draft a catcher?
I mean, like if I can get Real Muto at the 5th round, maybe 5th, 6th round turn. Other than that, I'm not even spending a top 120 pick on him.
Yeah, pretty much. If I don't get Real Muto, I think I'm punting that, and I'm just going to watch out falls. Because there's no guarantee that, look, Travis d'Arnaud had a good season last year. This has sucked the 2 years before that. So you go out there and you get all crazy and go, I'm going to go ahead and grab my, use my 7th round because I want to see Travis d'Arnaud rake. And then by mid-May, he's sitting in the 8th position. You're like, oh, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? So yeah, I hope Travis d'Arnaud does well, but I think Steven had to take off. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk the Braves Red Sox game yesterday and get reactions from that. We're also going to talk about spring training baseball in general, like, what we liked and didn't like. And we're going to look at the bracketology again. We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks.
This is the part in the Lifetime movie version where I get up to pee.
Make contact.
A collective psychosis is sweeping the nation. We're in the thick of the haze craze, and Elysian is introducing an altered state of IPA. Contact Haze is a tangled chemistry of mild haze, low bitterness, and an explosion of hop aroma. This hazy IPA bursts with notes of bright raspberry, currant, citrus, guava, and passion fruit. Available in 6-pack cans in stores. Make contact.
The Armchair Quarterback's Wake-Up Show, the rock and roll of sports talk radio. So turn that auto-tune and mumble crap off from the other guys.
This time I'm gonna kick that football clear to the moon.
Amazon Prime members now get free grocery delivery with a minimum order. You'll get your groceries with 2-hour delivery. So in that time, you can finally figure out where the biblioteca is, learn how to play the acoustic guitar, and I guess get a puka shell necklace. Do a makeup tutorial, but realize halfway contouring is hard, and you're beautiful just as you are. Whatever it is you're doing with your time, your shopper will be carefully picking out your favorite organic meats, produce, dairy, and snacks while providing contactless delivery to your door. Free 2-hour grocery delivery, now with Prime.
6th round, TJ Hoshimazode. Yes, lock it up.
Who?
What? TJ, how's vanilla? All right. TJ, who's your mama?
You mean TJ Hushmanzada from the Bengals?
Put him on the board. Hoshimazoli. Got it. Championship.
Make sure to join the Armchair Quarterbacks right here. We'll answer all your questions, pickups, trades, you name it. You want to win your league? Then listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. And don't be scared to tap that app. Find the Armchair Quarterbacks app today.
Fantasy football time. It's fantasy football time.
I should have gone to law school or high school.
We live in a world now that welcomes and nurtures the screwball in all of us. Hey, it's a new decade, people. Time to get a little nutty. Treat yourself to Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, a smooth flavor that combines two of America's favorites, peanut butter and American whiskey. So no more social awkwardness. Time to embrace who you truly are. Get out there and make friends. And be sure it starts with Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. It's available nearly everywhere. Learn more at screwballwhiskey.com. Infinium Spirits. Please enjoy responsibly.
They're bringing me back. Yeah, I'm the Wiz again.
I'm the Wiz. I'm the Wiz.
What about your fact-checking job?
Oh, here's the fact. I'm the Wiz.
I'm the Wiz and nobody beats me.
All right, we are back. CBS Sports Radio. So Justin and I had to jump up and take care of two things. First of all, we're doing that segment, and I realize that I'm just drinking straight coffee. I have no cream, no sugar, nothing in my coffee. I was like, the hell am I doing here? I can deal with that to a degree, but usually I only do that if I take like a blood test that morning. I don't, I'm not a Neanderthal. The other thing is, I keep looking at my screen over here, and so I've got all these monitors to keep us up to date in the world of sports in case something breaks. And the one that I have over on the NFL Network, I'm like, why does that thing keep going off? And I would turn it on, then the baseball one would go off back and forth, and it's saying, you know how YouTube TV, you can only do so many television streams. Well, I've got it set up. My wife's at work. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Did I leave something on overnight? I go back in the back. My damn dog's watching TV.
Hey, bud, you're tying up a stream. You got to cough that up.
I was like, Coda, use Hulu, man. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but catch up on your stories later.
That's a good one there, bud.
I'll tell you what cracks me up with her, and it's every year I've turned her literally into a baseball dog, because when I'm watching other sporting events, she just doesn't care. She wanders around. She's a dog, right? But I think it's something, the soothingness of the of the baseball broadcasters, the way they talk or whatnot. When I have baseball and she will sit down in front of a TV and just fall asleep. Just any other sport, she's not, I can't even find her. Like, she's nowhere to be in the room. But when I put baseball on, I've seen her religiously like the last 3 days, because she just comes in and just goes, all right, this is what, all right, finally. I was wondering when these guys would get back to, just that. I don't know. But anyways, speaking of baseball, the Braves were actually on TV yesterday, which was great. Unfortunately, we're not on today. I checked. You said you got the MLB.TV?
I did.
Good news. Marlins Cardinals play at 1:00 today on who I think the Cardinals are the ones that are broadcasting it. But the point is that game will be on. The ESPN is doing a game today, and I'm gonna have to double check what it is, but it wasn't one that I was that enthusiastic about. But then later on at 4:00, because I don't think it's it might be live, but regardless, MLB Network is going to have the Mets versus Houston on. So I'm actually kind of interested to see what both of those games, because I want to see what these what I normally look at with this is what the bullpens and the benches are going to look like. So yesterday we got Yanoa to start, which he's obviously not supposed to be starting come the regular season, but he did have to fill in quite a bit for us last year. I didn't see much that has changed in him. What say you?
Well, I'm not as crucial as you in your first spring training debut, but
whatever, you want to fire all the coaches. I got a text. I didn't see it because I was working. I looking down my text messages. I knew what you were talking about. I didn't have to see it in real time. The text message.
Let's talk about that. That's completely different.
Coaches.
The base coaches. I want the first and Ron Washington at third. They needed to have been fired immediately yesterday. I mean, Acuna leads off with a single, or should have been a single. It's spring training, and they pump him into a double that turns into a head first slide and a close throw that could have hit him. Okay. We get past that, and then I think Albies walks, and then Lamb hits a rope into the left field for a single. Martinez has the ball before Acuna even rounds third, and Washington's got the windmill going. And I mean, it just he's safe, all was well. But man, let's get to the first game of the season before we start injuring the superstar. And
the first thing I thought of was it 2 years ago when Washington sent Max Fried around in a game that was not needed.
Yes.
And he's like going full belly flopping into the, I mean, it looked almost like the injury that took out Buster Posey. I was like, yeah. And so as soon as I saw your tweet, I just started laughing because I was like, yep. Because I had the same kind of thought of, why the hell are you sending him? I mean, come on. If nothing else, he could pull a hamstring.
Yeah, I mean, let's let him get warmed up, not the first hit. We're gonna two-base you all the way around this diamond today, Ronald.
Did he feel pressure because he knew that we were coming up on the 20 pitch count? What is that crap? I don't even remember that from last year. Evidently, they said that it happened last year, but I don't ever remember it being used. But yesterday,
I think the first week of the season, they had unwritten rules that the two skippers could get together before the game and agree to these terms. Kind of like this year, they added the tweak of they could make it a 5-inning or a 7-inning game.
Now, I don't mind that part. I don't like the 5-inning. The only reason why is because I'm sitting there thinking about the guy or gal that got up that morning to go watch a baseball game and drove down, or even if they live in the city, but let's just say that you decided to spend a weekend down there to watch your Red Sox and get some sunshine, right? And you go in there for a 5-inning game. It's a little, I just say you feel cheated. And oh, by the way, is that going to reflect in my ticket price?
Well, I mean, you look at the Yankees games that you've been seeing, and I mean, everybody's escaped New York. I mean, they look like they're there in a home game. So, I mean, yeah, for the fans, there's a lot of teams right now in a lot of markets that haven't had the freedoms of Florida. So I'm sure that they want to get every pitch that they can.
Yeah, and you go to pay. Look, I've always thought 9 innings was too long for spring training baseball. They should just meet in the middle and say, y'all, to hell with this, to hell with trying to figure it out. We're just planning to play 7 innings during spring training, because you realistically don't need all those innings, and the batters need the least amount of work. It's the pitchers that need work, and I get that. But you also have 30 days to get in. If you get 7 innings in, and let's say you play 30 full days, because you don't need to give a team a day off if you're only going 7 innings. You can give players a days off. You can tell Freddie, hey, don't come to the park today, that kind of thing. But I just say cap it at 7 innings and call it a day. The 20 pitch thing is weird because, first of all, tell you right now, don't gamble on spring training baseball, because that could really cause an issue, man. Can you imagine having $100 on that game on the over, and they keep pulling, the 20 pitch rule on you? Oh my God, I would lose my mind. Because that first inning, for people who don't know what we're talking about, first or second inning, whatever it was for Atlanta, they got 2 runs, but I don't think the Red Sox even got an out. If they did, they only got 1 out. Once they got to 20 pitches thrown in that inning, they had the right to shut the inning down, which the Red Sox did. The bases were loaded. There might have been 1 out, but I feel like that there was nobody out.
I think he got 1. And I think Cora let him face 1 last batter, and I think he threw a total like 23 pitches, but it wasn't much. And he said, after this batter, we're done, and he wrapped it up. And
but here's my issue. Then the guy comes back out and pitches the next inning. Then if you pull your guy after for 20 pitches, you want to shut down the inning? Okay. He shouldn't be going out that next inning. What the hell is that about?
It's the first start of spring training. I mean,
nah, man, you got to have rules.
No slack. You better come and bring it if you ever play for Mac McGee. I mean, day 1.
They better hope I'm never sitting in the back behind home plate when that crap goes down. Oh, come on! I'm over here keeping score. How the hell am I supposed to? What am I supposed to write here? Can you imagine if that was a real rule during the regular season? Oh, the horse crap. Because I was sitting there thinking 20 is, man, that is low. I was thinking 25. I don't think you want to get to 30, but man, 20 is low.
I think they can get him 2 or 3 innings, keep him around a 50, 60 pitch count. And for the first start, I mean, they're not going to pitch twice in this first week. This rule will end Sunday.
The thing that I saw as far as the Braves go is, now as far as the Red Sox go, if you listen to, it was the Red Sox broadcast, man, they were pumping some sunshine up some people's butt yesterday, because they were talking about how Cora, says all the right things. He's doing what he needs to do because he's sorry, because he's a cheating bastard, all that stuff. Okay, whatever. Push that aside. But then Cora, I guess, made a statement to I guess it was on the evening news kind of interview up there in Boston. And he made the statement that this team has the kind of stuff to play in October. And I was like, what, is there a winter league that I don't know about that starts in October? What is he talking about? Because this Boston team is not going to have any pitching. I would actually be shocked if Sale pitches this year. He's on record as saying that he thinks he can come back by late July, but if they're out of the playoff race, do you even put Chris Sale out there? No. Except, maybe 1 or 2 starts at the end, so that he gets some kind of work in, right? But do you even put him out there?
I mean, you're not putting him out there to chase a full workload on the grind like you're running down the stretch. Not if you're completely out of it. You're getting him. It's like you said, just keep him stretched out and get him built back up strength-wise for next season and take it head on. No, I don't think they're anywhere near. There's some questions with the Yankees, but the Blue Jays completely stacked up. And Tampa Bay is that team that, even though it feels like they annihilated everything, they will be right there and be in the mix for it. So I don't know where the Red Sox are going to find this dominating talent to just take over the East this year.
Touki Toussaint I think we're kidding ourselves if we think he's anything but a reliever. Wouldn't you agree? Because when he stayed in there past that first inning, it got rough. It got really rough. Now I know it's the first game, but it reminded me of what we saw last year, where once you see him and he gets past. Look, I would rather have Tuki Toussaint go out there and try to perfect 2 pitches, get really good at those 2 pitches, and not even, just like Newcomb, not even worry about the possibility of being in a rotation. And because there's a big difference between being a reliever and needing 2, 3 at the most, and a starting pitcher who needs 4 or 5 pitches to get through the lineup 2 to 3 times.
I did like he had 4 strikeouts. Him and Noah both had 4, but they both gave
They also
up
had 2 walks.
He had 2 walks, and they also, I mean, from that aspect, every one of your pitchers you put out to your starters, I guess, is it Hikestra? Is that how you pronounce second man out? Came out after Noah.
I think it's
had 2 walks, got pulled. I mean, it wasn't pretty.
No, he's one of those garbage guys that's not going to make the team. Matzik is the only one that really looked like midseason form.
Now that was the important thing, seeing the 2 lefties come out in Minter and Matzik. They're going to be crucial. Minter didn't look great. He gave up 3 singles, but he worked his way out of it. He was getting contact. It wasn't walks. I will take that from day one.
Yeah.
I think that's promising moving forward, as he's at least pitching to contact.
Let me ask you something.
Double play.
Your heart of heart, guts of guts. Do you think Minter becomes their closer, or is it going to be Will Smith? Because, man, I'm telling you right now, I think Minter's nastier than Will Smith. I know Will's the $39 million man, but
if you have to have him, and that's why Snett won't put him there, Smith can't do that. I don't think Smith still has that left in him.
I just think Smith is a lefty specialist setup guy.
But I think Minter probably will end up closing out when it's said and done.
Here's the other thing that's, the elephant in the room. Shane Green is still a free agent. No one has signed him. Can we wear him down and get him to sign a club-friendly deal, or do you think him and his agent are sitting out there going, bro, it's the beginning of spring training. Wait till someone tweaks an arm or something and realize they don't have in their bullpen what they thought they had in their bullpen.
Like Joe Girardi's going to need you.
Yeah. I'm surprised Joe Girardi hadn't gone out and gotten him. I mean, they seem to be made of money right now. And Shane Green is obviously a solid reliever. I don't know if he's necessarily a lockdown closer, but you could use him in a role. What I would love to see is if Atlanta could go out and get him and then tag team the closing role with Minter and Green. Just go back and forth and have Will Smith set you up, have Matzik, who I think has incredible amount of ability long-term, but have Matzik basically be your 7th inning guy and Will Smith be your 8th inning guy, unless you need a righty. And then depending on how it's setting up, you either use Minter or Green. I still think that if they don't make a move now, they'll make a move in July for a closer. But, man, Shane Green is sitting out there, and unless he's wanting something ridiculous like $15 million a year, all I'm saying is we're going to be kind of pissed off, Justin, if in a couple of weeks he signs a 1-year, $2.2 million deal to go close for, or to be a setup guy for the Yankees or whatever. You're like, oh, man, are you serious? Are you serious? Because A.A. Anthopoulos has talked out of both sides of his damn mouth, because he said recently that the spending is pretty much done because they spent so much money last offseason and there was no gate receipts, so they lost money, so they're pretty much stretched to the limit. He says that now, but 2 or 3 weeks ago when they signed Ozuna, he said signing him at such a club-friendly deal frees up some money for us to help build the rest of our roster out. So which one is it? Right?
I agree. I mean, they still need to put it together, and I don't know why they're limping through unless they're just waiting to see some of their young arms. I mean, I'm still curious to see what Newcomb has. Can Newcomb ever evolve into that guy? We've talked about it quite a few times. What's he going to look like? Is there a reason he's not pulling the trigger? I mean, there's got to be some depth issue that they're wanting to see at spring training before
If we can get the
go into this.
If we can get the Newcomb in the bullpen that we had, what was it, 2019?
Mm-hmm.
That would be phenomenal. He was obviously garbage this past year when they tried to put him back in the rotation. And remember, we were pounding the desk and screaming at the heavens, saying, "Why are you doing this?" The guy was incredible in the bullpen, and now you're putting him back out there because you're trying to get too cute with them. Let the guy be what he is. Because I think what makes Newcomb devastating is he comes out of the pen, he comes right after you with his mid-90s fastball, and he keeps you off balance with that Uncle Charlie coming off from basically coming from the dugout. And you got to be prepared for both. But you only see him that one time and then he's out. When he comes in and he's trying to nibble the corners, by the second time through the rotation, that's where they light him up. But looking at their bullpen, I'll tell you what, we have an embarrassment of riches of lefties. Not a lot of bullpens have that. So I love that. But I'm still a little concerned of who is going to close it. When old Shaggy comes running out there, old Luke Jackson comes running out there.
Have you seen Shaggy at camp yet?
I haven't.
I haven't either. I wonder if he got trimmed up by Acuna's barber or not. Because Acuna's looking light, trimmed the hair up, got a whole new do going, and he looked fast yesterday. So maybe Luke Jackson got him a style too.
Luke Jackson.
I think that's what hurts with his location. The damn hair gets in his eyes.
I'm just going to be
simple.
I'm just going to be upset if we can't add a Shane Green because we wasted, what was it, 1.5 or 1.75 with Luke Jackson, right? I'm going to be a little upset if we find out that Shane Green signs for like 2.5, and you're like, really? So we could have just let Tomlin go. We could have let Jackson go and keep a Shane Green. That's the part that concerns me. They keep telling us about how Tomlin's very important because he's supposed to be basically like another coach on the team. Then hire him as a damn coach. Because there comes a point in time. Look, Tomlin was just terrible last year. Every time he came in, we knew that it was mop-up duty, right? And you still need a mop-up guy. I get that, but I guess I'm just obsessed with the fact that Shane Green hasn't been signed yet.
I'm not, because of I expected so much when he came out of Detroit, and he never brought that with him. I feel like I got let down, and I don't know if you go back to that well one more time, unless it's like you're saying you're getting one of these club-friendly options, but it doesn't sound like Shane Green and his camp are taking any part of that. They feel like they've got some value they can probably go out there and get from one of the other.
I would like to see what Chris Martin could do in the closing role, because he's got some filthy stuff as well. I did notice that Shoemake, I think is how it's pronounced. We got another Dansby Swanson doppelganger.
Yeah, I did notice that as well.
We got rid of Culberson, and we can't just have one guy that looks like Dansby Swanson. We got to go out and get a Shoemake. So I don't even. It's also kind of funny that he plays shortstop as well. But
which that's going to be interesting this season, because aside from Camargo, there's not anybody else on this roster that can field short other than Swanson. So if Swanson's out or misses any time, and we've seen with Camargo, I thought he can do short as well. I knew he was a second baseman.
He's second, short, third and outfield, but he does not do short very, very often. So yeah, that's why Camargo's probably safe in making the team because there's no one else out there.
Well, the problem is he's lost his range when he filled in at third. He takes a different skill set and position over there on that hot corner, and it dialed back a lot of his range at short. And you saw last season when he filled in for Swanson, he just didn't have it.
No.
And there's not another range eater on this defense. I mean, unless you're just going to shift Albie to shortstop. You know.
I guess, you know, and in this age and time of the overshift, I don't know if there's concerned about it, but I agree. You got to have a backup shortstop on the team, just for the simple fact that even if he doesn't get injured, you can't have Swanson out there playing every single game.
But I think that will make a necessity of Camargo to be he's going to be this Baez super utility that at least maybe will keep him from slumping at the plate, because I think he will regularly get at bats. But
so we have to watch him.
I think it's really.
I'm just not sold on Camargo long term, and I kind of wish they would trade him, because I get tired of the Braves fans thinking that he needs to start more when Riley goes into like a 2-game hitting slump.
It's not happening.
No, I mean, and we should have traded him at his height. I don't know if people it's him and Kyle Wright. We should have traded them about, I don't know, 18 months ago, and we could have gotten a haul for Camargo and Kyle Wright. Now
Camargo will never flash the leather of Riley at the hot corner. It's not going to happen. And maybe a lot of people don't realize how good Riley is defensively at third, but dude's legit.
I think that's the problem. The average fan does not understand it. They kept wanting to get Jose Ramirez in. I'm like, dude, they're already saying that they're cash strapped. You trade for Jose Ramirez. Yeah, he's got a friendly deal this year, but then I believe he becomes a free agent next year. And then what the hell are you going to do? So it makes no sense to trade your young star that you have 4 more years of control on. That's just dumb.
And they've brought Chipper in as a hitting analyst. I like that move this offseason. That can only help with Riley. You have to look at you remember when Swanson took his big swing from his first year in, it maybe had been after his second season, he started working with Chipper in the offseason on his own. And then we just saw night and day difference. And now you got Lieutenant Dan when he comes to the plate. You put some respect on that name because he got with Chipper and he got his fundamentals down. So now having that, I don't think it's going to be a problem from Riley to hit a fastball moving forward once Chipper gets in there and, you know, cleans up his swing.
I agree. What is your walk-off for the day, sir?
Ian Anderson on the mound this afternoon for the Atlanta Braves. Catch the audio broadcast. They will have it. So,
yeah, I did see that. And by the way, it's Rays versus Red Sox on ESPN today. So that's actually a pretty good one.
Giants Dodgers tonight. I'm not sure if that'll be the televised game, but I don't know why it wouldn't be. But tonight you've got Giants Dodgers. And I don't care if it's spring training, regular season, postseason. Anytime them two teams get together, they're usually interesting.
They are probably, is it, when you say tonight, you're saying like it's being played under the lights?
It is showing, and I will get back in here to confirm the time.
Tonight they're showing, well, Dodgers Giants is going to be replayed on Major League Baseball Network at 11 p.m. But if you have MLB.TV, that means
I'm showing at 8 Central. I just don't have the channel. It's on MLB TV. I don't know. There's 2 games tonight. You got Angels and Reds. Angels at Reds and Dodgers at Giants. And one's at 8 Eastern, one's at 9:05 Eastern.
Angels Reds is going to be on MLB Network.
So you won't get the Giants Dodgers.
So Giants Dodgers comes on 11 p.m. on the replay on MLB Network. And later on tonight, if you just want to set your VCR so that you VCR, God, how old am I?
There's your walk-off.
Royals Cubs come on overnight from 2 to 5 a.m. because I've been recording all these games just so if I'm bored and I'm going to flip something on, I'll do. I don't get as into the spring training other than I'll watch Tampa and I'll watch Atlanta, but outside of that, it's kind of nuts. tomorrow, we'll have Sean here. I got some fun topics to debate. Great job, bud. I know you got to run, and you let my walk-off for you is you let JJ Watt go to the Arizona Cardinals. I thought he was coming to Tennessee.
I'm glad they didn't retread that. I'm tired of retreads. It's not going to work out for JJ out there, but it's all good. Hey, I got to go return my pager messages and set my VCR, so I'll holler at you later.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more baseball and get into some bracketology. We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. The Florida State Seminoles men's basketball head coach Leonard Hamilton has agreed to a 5-year extension through the 2024-2025 season that will pay him annually $2.25 million a year. Hamilton is 72 years old, the winningest coach in school history, and has the Seminoles on the verge of winning back-to-back ACC regular season titles for the first time ever. Florida State currently 14-4, and in first place in the ACC is the highest-ranked team in the league at number 11 in the latest AP poll. The Atlanta Hawks fire head coach Lloyd Pierce on Monday. Given the hook less than halfway into his second season, which carried expectations before being hampered by injuries. The Hawks are 14-20 and 11th in the Eastern Conference. The NIT, National Invitational Tournament, is downsizing and moving its annual tournament this month, the NCAA announced on Monday. The NIT will feature 16 teams, all playing in Dallas-Fort Worth in the metropolitan area, with the games being held at Comerica Center and UNT Coliseum. Due to the reduced field, all 16 teams will be at large selections with no automatic qualifiers. The University of Texas defeated Lipscomb for the 2019 title. We got a couple of big games tonight in men's college basketball. At 5 p.m., Baylor tries to get off the schneid after getting their first loss of the season. They travel to number 6 West Virginia, and at 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN, number 4 Illinois is at number 2 Michigan. Also in the top 25, number 12 Arkansas at South Carolina. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for more of the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Take the road less traveled in the newly redesigned Hyundai Santa Fe. With available H-Track all-wheel drive to help you get off the beaten path a little further together. And intuitive safety features that can help you see what's waiting around the bend. Plus, with generous room for 5 and comfortable available Napa leather seating, you can go for more drives as a family without driving each other crazy. Find new adventures together in the Hyundai Santa Fe.
I'm Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always, after hours, hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
To protect her home and family in a disaster, Karen was willing to wade through water, mud, and insurance paperwork.
Yeah, I can do this.
You go, Karen! By simply understanding and updating what her insurance covers and doesn't cover now, she'll be better prepared no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Do you want to lose 18 pounds fast and improve your health? Now you can lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months with Nutrisystem. Get delicious breakfasts, lunches, dinners, even snacks and shakes delivered safely to your door. All delivered for free. It's easy to follow, and you'll see results in your first week. Just text BURN to 323232. You'll get your favorite foods made healthier and perfectly balanced to put your body in fat burning mode. Text BURN to 323232 right now and get 50% off a month of meals and shakes. That's right, 50% off a month of meals and 50% off a month of shakes with probiotics to help support your immune system. Just text BURN to 323232 right now. There's even a money-back guarantee. Millions of people have lost weight with Nutrisystem, and you can too. Lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months. Just text BURN to 323232. That's BURN to 323232.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Do you see what you get, Carla? Do you see what you get when you mess with the warrior?
Sí, que me gusta.
Welcome back here to the Armchair Quarterbacks, CBS Sports Radio, YouTube Live, and however the hell else you're listening to us. I apologize for the YouTube Live. Evidently, they're having some internal issues at YouTube, and you're not able to comment. This is 2 days in a row now. It's to the point where it was trending on Twitter yesterday. I thought it was something that we had done wrong, and they come to find out it's an internal error at YouTube that I guess they're doing updates. I don't really know, but at least you can see the show, watch the show. We'll look forward to when you can get your comments back in again, because we always look forward to those. Real quick scoreboard yesterday in Major League Baseball. Not a big deal to go through the Major League Baseball scoreboard, but I figure we'll get in the habit now. Braves over the Red Sox 5-3. The Astros 7-6 over the Nationals. You had Tampa Bay losing to the Twins 6-5. Orioles Phillies 4-4 final. I guess they just called that sucker and said, the hell that it's over. Marlins Mets. Marlins take them out 2-0. And Yankees beat the Tigers. Other winners yesterday were the Royals beat the Indians. LA smoked Colorado. I watched a little bit of that game. Like, Colorado's just going to be terrible. They're just going to be absolutely terrible. And LA has the Dodgers. They have an outfielder that I guess he's not going to be playing for the Dodgers anytime soon. But my God, this kid had a game. He belted a home run over the center field wall. His name is DJ Peters. He belted a home run over the center field wall, and then the very next inning made an incredible catch. He's a big kid too. Looked about like Aaron Judge standing at the plate, that kind of size. And it was kind of a trip because they got the kid. Oh, what was his name? Rayleigh, I think his name was. He got a double. He's standing on second base. I'm like, man, that kid is huge. He was towering over the shortstop for Colorado. It wasn't Trevor Story. It was one of their young kids. I was like, man, he's big. And then Peters comes up to the plate. I'm like, God, he's bigger than him, it looks like. So when he hit that 2-run home run, they met each other, right around the on deck circle, giving high fives. And he towered over Rayleigh, and Rayleigh looked like an NFL tight end. Man, the cupboard is full in Los Angeles. The rich just keep getting richer. A's beat the Reds 13-5, and a couple others. Cubs win, and the Brewers win, and White Sox, Angels, Giants, Rangers ended up in ties. So there you have that. And we got some big games in college basketball tonight. We're coming down the stretch right now for college basketball, and I'm excited for this week to be the hell over, to be perfectly honest with you, because next week when the conference tournaments begin, that's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of fun. We're going to be talking about The conference tournaments, I believe, actually start this weekend for the smaller conferences, and then it'll roll over. But as far as men's college basketball tournaments, and I believe the women's tournaments actually start this weekend too. So if you're into that, if my team is doing well, I will watch women's college basketball. But I don't just get into women's college basketball because it just, frankly, it's not as fun to watch. They're usually, the haves are so much better than the have-nots that women's college basketball is just, it's a terrible product. When they get to the point where there's enough talented women out there to play on several different teams and we have real upsets, then I'll get into the sport. But until then, if Florida State's playing, I'll pull for them. If the Lady Vols are playing, I'll pull for them. But other than that, women's college basketball to me is very regional. In other words, if your team's doing well, like in South Carolina right now, I'm sure Gamecock fans are excited about it, but it is what it is. It's like softball. I love Florida State softball. I watch it religiously, but it's because they're good and it's fun to watch. If they were terrible, it would probably be pretty difficult to sit there and watch them go through it. Men's basketball last night, by the way, Oklahoma State, 16 and 17 respectively in the nation. The Cowboys take out the Sooners 79-75. That's a big one right there for Oklahoma State. And Virginia holds on, beats Miami 62-51. I'm telling you, I think Virginia's a fraud. I think Virginia, remember how they were ranked up in the top 10 a few weeks ago, and then Florida State thumped them, and then they got some other losses. Miami is a depleted team, okay? It's because of injuries. It's got nothing to do with COVID. It's got to do with injuries. Miami's just not a good basketball team this year, and they squeaked by Miami. They should have put Miami away. They were up by 11 at the half, and then they win by 11. So they went toe-to-toe in the second half with them. Virginia's a fraud. Be careful when you're filling out your brackets. You don't want to take them very far. It's going to be tempting because you're going to go, well, they were pretty good this year. No. Other games tonight. Baylor, West Virginia, 3-6. Baylor finally got their first loss for people that missed that over the weekend. They will try to get off the schneid and go to West Virginia. That should be a really good game. That game is at 5:00 Eastern on ESPN. So you like that because you get to get an early afternoon game in. If you're getting off work about that time, or even if you're stuck at work, but you can, put it on a separate screen, like on the Plus or something. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't care what anyone says. Arkansas, South Carolina's tonight. Arkansas should roll, but it's important for Arkansas to get that W. They're up to number 12 in the country, y'all. 12 in the country. That's something. That ain't nothing. That's something. They beat Alabama during our break. I like Arkansas's chances to possibly win the SEC title. I'm expecting an Alabama-Arkansas showdown, and I hope that's what they get. The SEC needs something like that. They need a big tilt for the SEC title game. It seems like the higher-ranked teams in the SEC, usually one falters, and you get to the SEC tournament, it seems like it's like this every stinking year, where you'll have some nobody make a run like an Auburn who's 6-10 in the SEC this year. I know Auburn's usually good, but it'll be like an Auburn will make a run and they'll play Arkansas in the championship. And it's like, it hurts the brand for the Southeastern Conference. It just does. Illinois, Michigan, 4-2. So you get two games facing off of teams in the top 6 going down tonight. Illinois at Michigan, 4-2. That's at 7:00. So that's back-to-back. You get Baylor, West Virginia, and then you get Illinois, Michigan. Both of them are on ESPN. Auburn is playing Alabama tonight at 7. Not a whole lot of interest there other than the fact that it's a rivalry. This is the last week of regular season. If you're looking for a later slate game tonight, number 23 Purdue is at number 25, or sorry, they're at home against number 25, Wisconsin. So that's a crucial game for seeding purposes. Both teams should make the playoffs. Florida State took it on the chin this past weekend, but they did keep the number 11 ranking. They're at home against Boston College tomorrow night. So for all you Florida State fans, tomorrow night's kind of a light night of college basketball showdowns. Tonight is the night. If there's the night, you want to say, man, I got to find out a way to get a hold of the TV and do my thing for about 4 hours. Tonight is the night, because you're getting two games matched up of teams in the top 6 in the country. That doesn't happen very often, my friend. Tomorrow night, you do have a decent game on FS1, by the way, Creighton versus Villanova. So you have that. So let's go ahead and get into the bracketology and see where things lay right now. The most recent matchups that are being laid out here. You know, you've got, in my opinion, the tournament bracket right now. What we're looking at on some of the lines as the 2 line is interesting to me, because right now your number 1 seed, this is, if it ended today, this is where they're saying they think it would be. Now I have some debate on whether or not this would be true, but the chalk right now that everyone is saying it's going to be Gonzaga, Baylor, Michigan, Illinois. The problem with just assuming that is you are assuming that Michigan and Illinois are both going to get 1 seeds from the same conference. Let's say the loser of tonight's game gets bounced out early in the Big Ten playoffs tournament. There's a good chance that they're going to fall to the 2 seed, maybe in the 3 line. The NCAA usually does not like to have 2 teams from the same conference ranked up that high, but they will do it. It's just not usually done. The 2 seeds are interesting: Iowa, Wisconsin, Ohio State, and Alabama. They have really overrated the Big Ten this year in the polls. And it all comes down to the assumption of who they think is good, because there hasn't been much interconference play. It's pretty much all been in the conference, whether it's the Big Ten, ACC, SEC, you name it. There hasn't been a lot of out-of-conference play, is what I meant to say. You've got Ohio State, Iowa, Michigan, and Illinois. Half of the top 8 seeds are from the Big Ten. I don't like that at all. Now, Florida State continues to play well, or in Arkansas, who are currently on the 3 line. Houston, to me, you can't put Houston up that high. It's ridiculous. I know they've got a good record, but they haven't played anybody. Villanova, they're sitting on the 3 line. And then the 4 line is interesting, because most years when you see a 4 line, you're like, man, there's some really good teams here. This year, from what it's looking at right now, the four line looks like this: Clemson, Kansas, Texas, and Oklahoma State. The only one of those teams that I think are a threat to make a deep run would be Texas. So that's a little weird. It's a little weird to me that the 4 line would be that, I'm not saying overrated, but it has that feeling to it. Creighton, Texas Tech, Purdue, and Virginia on the 5 line. Purdue is going to end up on like the 6 or 7 line. I'm not buying Purdue. I'm just not. And then when you go to the 7 line, you get Tennessee, Wisconsin, USC, and BYU. I'm interested in the fact that Wisconsin's sitting down there at number 7. that could be a headache, man. If you were a 2 seed, you do not want to see Wisconsin staring at you in the second game. That could be a rough one. In Tennessee, I'm going to burst some bubbles today. I don't think Tennessee is going to get past the Sweet 16, and I would be shocked if they made it to the Sweet 16. There are teams that I just do not believe are as good as advertised. And Tennessee's one of them. They've been way too inconsistent. You know, they had such a great start beginning of the year. Remember, they were top 10. You could have argued them in the top 5, but then they got into the meat of their schedule, and they're just what hurts Tennessee's game is they're very inconsistent offensively. So if they don't show up to the post and just start nailing threes, it is a long night for Tennessee basketball. That's a lot to ask for a team twice in 48 hours to play really good offense. And they have to rely on that. Their defense is solid, but it's not anything that turns the ball over. They are more of a team that likes to sit there behind the three-point line. And when you don't have great three-point shooters and you're sitting behind the three-point line, we know that's an issue, y'all. That's an issue. I don't think Florida is going to go very far in the tournament. They're getting hot right now. I think they're on the 7 line. Or I'm sorry, 6 line. They're playing Missouri. Okay, so Missouri, Florida, Virginia Tech, and Oklahoma are all on the 6 line. I think by far Florida is the worst team on that line. I do think they probably get through. Actually, they probably won't, because if you're on the 6 line, you're going to play an 11 seed. You're not it's not a shoo-in that you're going to get a W. So that's going to be rough. That's going to be rough. The Zags, I'm going to burst a bubble right here. The Zags will not make the Final Four. You heard it here first. Everyone's going to be on the Gonzaga bandwagon in about 2 weeks when they're filling out their brackets. They're going to have them marching all the way to the championship. I'm getting them knocked out before they ever hit the Final Four, and I'll tell you why. As good as they've been, they have played nobody. Nobody. They have a lot of talent. The problem is when they finally get their feet held to the fire, and you got to figure you're going to get it at least twice to get to the Final Four, if not 3 times. The first game will be a joke. They'll play, who the hell knows who you are State in the first round, and they'll blow them out by 30. Then you're going to play the 8-9 seed winner, and then the following week is when you're going to run into most likely a 4 or 5 seed, and then either a 2 or 3 seed. Now they could get lucky, and teams have big upsets. From my understanding, they're not doing reseeding, even though it's all going to be in the same area. So, if you get fortunate, you can pull it off. But all in all, I think there's not much of a chance that Gonzaga wins 4 consecutive games to get to the Final Four. I'm very, very down on them. I know a lot of people are going to have him probably winning the title. A lot of people are going to have him in the Final Four. I'm going to be the contrarian in my bracket, and I'm going to take it outside and say that they don't make it to the Final Four because they're a team that has not tested themselves, and that usually does not play well in the world of sports. You want to be tested during the regular season. That's the whole point of your regular season, is to get ready and to get acclimated to the pressure that it takes. And it doesn't matter how good they are. It does not matter how good you are. If you have not been tested, with the same team. You could be really good the year before, like Gonzaga was, and say, well, we're going to roll it over till next year. No, it becomes a point when a game comes on the line, especially in basketball, where it's who's going to take the ball. And if you have any kind of an uphill climb, it's lights out. We see it all the time in the NCAA tournament in March Madness. I think Baylor's got a better chance of making that deep run because they live off their defense. And any team that lives off their defense, I am willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. And let's be honest, they've been playing in the Big 12. They're getting tested week in and week out. It's really Houston and Baylor have played nobody. It's time to turn back time. All right. On this date, I cannot believe this because, this gets referenced a lot. So we are talking about, man, we are just God, has it really been that long? 59 years ago today, Wilt Chamberlain scores 100 points, the most ever by an NBA player in a single game during the Warriors' 169-147 win over the Knicks. 36 of 63 from the field, 28 of 32 from the free throw line. That's the key. He never gets up to 100 points if he's not 28 of 32 from the free throw line. Unbelievable. I don't believe we'll ever see that again. We came close with Kobe's 81. You have to be not just on fire, but you got to hit your free throws. And also remember, Wilt Chamberlain was a beast. He overshadowed guys by almost a foot. I just don't think that you'll ever see. You damn sure ain't gonna see it from someone standing behind the 3-point line chucking it. That's never gonna happen. Birthdays. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday. Wow. 56 years young. Mr. Ron Gant. Of course, he was a Cincinnati Red, an Atlanta Brave. And he currently, I believe he's still with the Atlanta Braves broadcasting team. I do know that he's also a co-host for something called Good Day Atlanta in the Atlanta area. I believe that's a television show. It's like a morning wake up show in Atlanta. So happy birthday to him. I'll always remember what he played in that incredible Braves run in the early 90s. He got hot a couple of times, carried the team on his back a few times. Happy birthday, Mr. Ron Gant. Also, is it really that? Is he really? I did not realize he was 39 years old today. Ben Roethlisberger. Will he be the starting quarterback at the end of the year next year? He's at the end of his rope, and he looked bad last year. And I don't think they'll go through another season where you watch his demise at the end of the season and stick with him. They got Dwayne Haskins in camp, and I think Pittsburgh will draft a quarterback as well. But 39 years old, and man, I'll tell you what, this is a busy day. I didn't even see this one till just now. Happy 36th birthday to Mr. Reggie Bush. And I would have thought he was older. I'll tell you why. He's been out of the league for a while. Reggie Bush, 36 years old today. Of course, the Heisman Trophy winner, not from 2005, and national championship winner, not, both of them taken away. But he was a Super Bowl winner with the Saints, and born in Spring Valley, California. No idea where that is. All right, y'all. We're going to see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow, Sean Toole will be back with us. Justin Waller. We're going to have some fun topics to debate as we inch a little closer to opening day. The draft is coming up on us. March Madness is coming up on us. Love spring sports. Love it. This time of year is phenomenal. We'll see you tomorrow.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get another cigarette and please get